New trailer for Justice League dropped, and it's generating a lot of hate. It is getting a lot of hate. At least that's what the comments read like when I saw them, when I read them yesterday. And then, but there's also a lot of hype stemming from it. I was initially going to make a Power Rangers movie review today, but then the whole thing with the whole fiasco with the Dragon Ball Super episode happened last night, and that pushed back everything. So probably not going to do it. I did buy these Krispy Kreme donuts, not to advertise or anything. In fact, you know what? It's actually pretty gross because the sugar of the donut started leaking from the box. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty disgusting. And I froze them actually, and I'm not gonna eat them anymore because like it was really like dripping out of the box. It's pretty disgusting. Pretty sure that a regular donut is not supposed to be dripping liquid sugar to that degree. So anyway, Justice League trailer. I think, in my opinion, what I've seen thus far, in almost every DC trailer that's come out, there is way more hate in those comment sections than there ever will be in any of the Marvel movie trailers. Okay? Now that doesn't mean that the hate is coming directly from the Marvel fan base, because even if you were to think that, there's no way of proving that. I mean, because like YouTube is really a place for a lot of trolling. It really is, to the point where like, you know, I guess like level 2 of trolling is actually when you actually disguise yourself. So something very, very common that you would see in like a DC trailer is like, oh, I'm a DC fanboy, or I'm a DC fan, but this looks like shit. That's a cover-up. You see how you're like saying like, well, I usually like these movies, but this looks like shit. But there's really no way of proving whether or not you actually like DC or not. And the same thing happens to Marvel, but I don't think it happens to the same degree. The exact same thing happens with anime as well. Like with One Piece specifically, I want to mention that because people come to some of my videos and say, I really like One Piece, I love One Piece, but the story is terrible. It's just disgustingly long and it just doesn't work. But I'm a fan of One Piece. Sure you are, you know. I liked Batman v Superman, I liked Suicide Squad. I know a lot of people did not like those movies. I thought they were good. I thought they were good movies. They could have been a lot better. They had the potential to be a lot better, but I like those movies. In fact, you know what? Like, I don't care what people say. I still go back and rewatch the Trinity versus Doomsday fight every so often because I get hyped watching those scenes. I get hyped when Wonder Woman just stands in front of Batman to take that blast. The problem with DC, all right, when we compare it to Marvel, specifically the DCU versus the MCU, the problem with the DCU is that as of right now, all right, and despite the fact that I like those movies, a lot of people still feel like it needs to hit a home run for it to survive. All right, for a lot of people, DC has not delivered the home run that it was supposed to be, or that it was intended to be, or that it has the potential to be. So with that in mind, I do get the disappointment. It's like, if you did not like Batman v Superman, if you didn't like Man of Steel, if you did not like Suicide Squad, well, a lot of people would be like, well, this is the Justice League trailer. The trailer looks great, but what about the actual movie? Because we know DC can make really good trailers. That's kind of the problem for a lot of people, is that the hype dies with the trailer, when in fact, the trailer should be prepping you for a really great movie. Speaking of which, that final third Wonder Woman trailer that came out was fantastic. That's just, you know, an example of how great these trailers are. It does feel a little bit like Captain America, the first movie, but Cap is World War II and Wonder Woman is World War I. So I'm still going to go see it. It looks fantastic. And that actually brings me to my next point, in which I do believe that a lot of the mindset, all right, is going to depend on whether or not Wonder Woman turns out to be a good movie. If there's a consensus that Wonder Woman is good, that helps open up the door for Justice League and say like, hey, remember, like Wonder Woman was really good, so give us a shot. Please come in. Even though I guarantee you people are going to see the movie anyway, because it's the first time on screen where we've seen these superheroes together as one, as Justice League. All it takes is one good movie, all right, and word of mouth. And that's all it takes. You can move mountains with that. That's how Star Wars got popular in the first place. So please, I'm begging you, Justice League, don't mess this up, please. Another important thing that I have to mention is that I do kind of, it's becoming very noticeable that DC is trying way too hard to be like Marvel, when it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Like, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Dark Knight, and it's a good movie even if it weren't a comic book movie, all right? It's a good movie, period. And a lot of the problems do stem from like people comparing, like, oh, this is too dark. So what? So fucking what? Like, I mean, it's Batman. You really expect Batman to be cracking jokes every 20 seconds? No, like, it's okay. And in my opinion, I will say, despite the fact that Marvel knows exactly what it's doing, they are pros at building up these franchises now. They know exactly how to market the film so that you go see the upcoming film and so forth and expand the universe more and more and more. I do think that DC, like in terms of like character, in terms of like comic book source material, I think DC has better source material. Give me a comic book villain that is as memorable, as demonic, and as chaotic as the Joker. All right. Give me okay, so DC also happens to have two of the most overpowered, broken, arguably two of the most powerful characters in comic book history, and that's Wonder Woman and Superman. I mean, these guys, at some point, they have to get bored of just, fighting on Earth. You could take on the galaxy or just, do something different. Maybe even like pull a DBS, start fights with other universes, because they can withstand that type of heat. They will. And I'm not even talking about the characters just as characters, but also as icons. Like, if you think about it, I think the most iconic character that Marvel has is Spider-Man. Probably the X-Men, but I think number one would go to Spider-Man. All right? And when it comes to DC, like, everybody knows who Superman is. Everybody knows who Wonder Woman is. Everybody knows who Batman is. And it's just that, Marvel has better movies. I will admit to that. Last year, I have to admit, Civil War was the best comic book movie that came out. All right, followed by, I think Doctor Strange and Deadpool are pretty close, but I think Civil War took the cake. The main point that I'm trying to get at here is that I really do believe that DC can make great movies without having to be similar to what Marvel is doing. Because they've done it in the past. They've done great movies in the past. They've done a lot of crappy movies too, but they've done great movies too. And so, like, just, watching Suicide Squad, there's a post-credit scene at the end of that movie. Why is there a post-credit scene at the end of that movie? I'll tell you why. It's because you're copying Marvel, all right? And you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that to be great. You can be your own unique, amazing thing just by yourself, all right? Shit, I was expecting this Justice League trailer to have like a 360 shot with all the Justice League members, just like the Avengers movie. So I'm really glad they didn't do it. Instead, they actually went for the iconic lineup shot of the League under that crisp sunset. And that's what I want to see. Great job. That was a great shot. And also, I love the fact that they didn't show Supes. Don't show Supes. Don't show him in any trailers, all right? Keep it a secret. Because one of the complaints that people had with the Batman v Superman trailer was, oh, they showed Doomsday. Thanks. Spoiler alert, don't show Supes. I want to sit in that movie theater and I want to freaking flip my popcorn away and be like, holy crap, it's Supes. What has he been up to? I don't want to know. So the less they show of him, the better. Thank you for not showing him in this trailer. I will say, though, that I think Cyborg looks a little bit iffy in this shot right here. I think the special effects need a little bit of work because he does kind of look like a PS2 character. But all the other shots I thought were fine. It's just that one shot that I showed you guys that I'm just saying, like, okay, what's up? Also, Flash, I've always grown up with a Flash that has yellow lightning. But in this case, it's blue. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of like, I hope they actually address the change in the movie. As long as they do that, as long as they tell us why his lightning isn't yellow anymore, I'll be cool with that. But my two favorite shots. Oh, and another thing, like the whole Aquaman thing when he's riding the Batmobile, and he's like, "Yeah!" I was like, "All right, cool it," because that's borderline Marvel territory. These are my two favorite shots from the trailer. The first one is Bats coming in with the hook, dodging some fire, and then just coming in to kick somebody, and then a little detonator action there, throws it. Boom. I like that one, and then I also like this shot here with Wonder Woman. There seems to be some parademons like aboard a truck or some type of a vehicle. I'm assuming it could also be the Batmobile, but Wonder Woman just goes in there. It looks like she's flying actually, and like a boss just cleans those parademons right off the roof. I will say that when I saw the trailer for the first time, I was singing that Beatles song, "Come Together Right Now." Yeah, I mean, because I got excited, and then I read the comments, and I'm like, boy, what a bummer. There are some people that are legitimately worried that this movie might actually be amazing, and that they're scared, and that's very normal. It's okay to be scared about these things, especially if you are actually attached to another franchise. But guess what? Both Marvel and DC can actually be good. We can live in a world where both good DC movies exist and Marvel movies exist. So, whew. I saw a lot of reactions for the trailer as well, and I did notice that in pretty much every single one, everybody laughed when Barry asks Bruce about his powers. Like, so what are your superpowers? And he's like, I'm rich. And it is a funny line. You know, it's kind of like a gag because it's supposed to be more like Marvel. You know, you're upping the comedic level there. But I do remember, like, you know, watching the cartoons, that actually really is a source of insecurity for Batman. It really is, because he would compare himself to the others and be like, I mean, what good am I? To the point where he would even like doubt his own self-worth and be like, you know, what am I doing here? Like, these people are just over the top and I can't do anything. He's like the Usopp of the league, a very rich Usopp. But yeah, so that's why I kind of feel for him. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. Honestly, in terms of comic book movies for this year, I think it's this and it's also Thor Ragnarok that I'm most excited about seeing overall. But tell me your opinion. Like the video if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Thanks.